I'll start with In Which I Think About Coming Out, which was published in Rust and Moth in 2022. And it goes like this. And my mother takes me to the supermarket so I will stop crying. In moth-drowned morning, she is singing that old mountain goat song, you know, the one that goes, "What'll I do without you?" The June rain knocks bullets down into our hollow car. Through the ritual silence of the pedal brake, I confuse transmission for omission. Forgetting as a type of movement, let me drive right through her, pass through the bones in the trunk, rattling out cautionary tales. Outside, a thread of silence pulls out of my throat, ties a knot around the deadened sky. A singular nerve unspools itself from my neck. Another unraveling suspended in a cascade of rain. Yesterday, a photo of a younger me, how she was growing into a moon face, crescent mouth sculpted to sink into a girl's thigh and a rope of saliva palmed into a skywire lifeline. Last summer, a girl tried to kiss me, a victory stolen in between the splattered bugs on the car windshield, their deaths all domesticated by my hand-tailored rebirth. And in the distance between me and her, a hole-punched wound for a girl drunkenly stumbled out, rerouted our veins to accommodate for the wasting bullet hole. Today, my mother tucks an orange into the grocery bag. She kisses my forehead. She tells me that I take everything too seriously, her jaw twitching out a heartbeat. And between aisles of oversweet soda, I unbutton my mouth into a sheet-white envelope, mistake every set of empty arms for an invitation. My girlhood sets into a car-made wreckage. I stop myself from deveining my body, I wait, I cleave out safety in the glove box, my girlhood a carnal wreckage. That's obviously about coming out, I don't know. Yeah. And then I think the next one I'm going to read is going to be a short story, and it is the first short story that I ever wrote. And let me find it. It's called Scene from a Eroding River. It's a flash fic. And it goes like this. It was a pattern he'd picked up on well before me and therefore continued to lord over my head. Every time we drank, I'd try to sleep with him. It was a stupid comment, but it allowed him to know something about me that I didn't, which I believe was a singular desire of all men. And I didn't want to give, the dude exactly what he wanted, but I kind of enjoyed pretending that shitty, wine-drunk romantic desire in and of itself was some great apotheosis, or singular revelation anyway. So, irrespective of our mutual disagreements on religion or politics or policing, I don't know, I wasn't particularly fussed. Every time we drank, I'd lie down and dream of some old American movie. Picture me, incipient and entirely distressed, watching snow fall down onto the brick entryway, his black roofing tiles. My glass of Shiraz balanced against a crisp white windowsill, my burgeoning 17-year-old sense of conscience feeling ever so guilty about how I smiled whenever he fiddled with my hair or asked me probing questions re-abortion or hookup culture. He was joking when he said I looked like I'd make us perfect, if not slightly boring trad wife. The kind that wears her hair in $40 bandanas, only drinks mead cocktails, Wojak-style shitposts on Reddit about getting a lobotomy slightly too frequently for everyone to easily ascertain that she's just being post-ironic, man. It could have been a perfect life, but alas, he was the neo-beatnik type and therefore didn't want to move out into a cottage in Iowa and the rest of his life being fruitful and multiplying. And I was doing just fine for now, insofar as my credulity, my honesty, the weightiness of my pseudo-intellectualism. I think that two online, two conservative men are only into two types of women. Libertarian pick-me girls and overtly histrionic socialist sex dolls. It's the kind of shit they'd go to rallies for, the way the worst of them become overjoyed when one of those freaks on 4chan kills another girl with red hair. No, I've got red hair now. Crazy stuff. But for men like him, it was neoliberal women. Self-positioned girl bosses, multi-level marketing entrepreneurs, OnlyFans content creators, catty as Twitch streamers. Their views anhedonically vapid to him, sexy without being threatening. He told me, when you've dated one of them, you've dated all of them. How something could be so constant, so simple, so neatly convenient. How it was the only world in which you could ever step into the same river twice. The only place where nothing would change and you would never get bored. This time, I was drinking and he was choosing a movie, an open 6-pack of Heineken carefully balanced between my knees. He watched me as I took one sip, then another. We were in an argument about makeup, but what else was there to talk about? My eyes were sharp ahead, focused like a deer before the crash. He asked me whether I still believed that garbage, told me how most people grow out of it, how I knew in my heart of hearts who I wanted to be, and then he kissed me. And then he kissed me, and he kept kissing me as my neck craned, eyes still locked forward over and over again, until there was nothing else to do. Yeah. Yeah, 4chan's crazy, isn't it? You'll ever been on 4chan? Yeah. Not much else to say. I'm just scrolling through the manuscript trying to find another poem to read. Okay. Oh, I've got a banger one that I have got memorized, because I am competing in a poetry competition tomorrow, a slam poetry competition, and it's in my book, and this is what I'm reading. And then afterwards I might read something that's not in my book that I wrote fairly recently. And it goes like this. It's called Commandments. When I ask out women, I tell them that every girl belongs in the Garden of Eden. Yes, because every girl starts out as an apple, born to be consumed. At home, we watch our bones burn into brothels. We justify our worship of a virgin, misspell breasts into breakfast. This is the trick to miracle, hiding spit under skin, shaving words off wastelands. It's simple to immigrant girls. The difference between men and women is home and away. Your language leaving your hands like coins with men's faces on them. That's the Australian dream. Money everywhere. Dead men on the city streets glittering like city stars. Once, I cut my mouth open on smashed glass, mistook it for a star, said, "Look, Mum, I've made it. It's a miracle." Biting down beer bottles into brilliance, chasing cuts into butterflies. When loving women, I remember that every heartbeat first spends time as heresy. Every girl is hungry before she is made home. There is something inherent in a woman strung into which the violence of the dinner table is if another courtroom after dinner. We whittle our tongues out of our throats, we whittle our throats out of the sky, unseam our tongues into a second trial. My only ambition? To be the girl who gods herself, who gets away with it all. Hands slick and oily, skirt scabbed with spit. So I started to trail behind every testimony, knocked on wood until it turned into confession. Yes, everything that cracked under my fists, lips, teeth, elbows, the body of woman enchanted into surrendering forests. Crazy. Going to a Catholic school, it's not Catholic, going to a Christian school is crazy, because you'll be in chapel, and then someone will be like, "Yeah, women in the Bible, huh?" And it's like, yep, there were women in the Bible, and they were not treated very nicely. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that. It's just, yeah. And this is going to be the last one for my book, I think. And it is, and it's called Sociologist, and it is about my now ex-girlfriend, but we're still besties. And I wrote this for her before we got together, because I am a useless queer, who will fall in love with people before dating them. And so I wrote this about her 3 months before we went on a date, which is, you'll see, it's truly horrific. And it goes like this. To become a philosopher, you must first understand genealogy, how one thing comes from another. Try this. You want to go to gay bars because the girl you love is a Marxist. Because you want to be the kind of Marxist-loving Marxist girl who goes to gay bars, eats ricotta salads, because Melbourne bars are cheap and Melbourne trams are very, very expensive. You wanted a simple solution to the trolley problem, but we were outside the free tram zone and neither of us had a ticket. You wanted to talk about big concepts like love as though they're worth anything. Because no one can blame you for it, can they? I wanted an alternate world in which my body had been baptized and I could be an old queer back when queer wasn't something we could say. And then I'd teach you about loving with teeth, then fuck you like we're burning alive. Because no one could blame us for it, for the way we'd spend our love. Fixing up presupposed trolleys so that no one would be killed by them ever again. The glare of the presupposed sun smudging the rim of your presupposed glasses. She asked me if I thought there was a solution to every dilemma, and I said yes. I said, if we figured out trams, my god, we can figure out trolleys. Yeah, she's cool. She's cool. She knows this poem is about her, and she printed it out and put it on her wall. So that's the biggest W I've ever taken in my life. Yeah. Hang on. And then, I'm going to read another one. This one isn't in my book. Very exciting. And it is called Happy Valley Vinyl Shop. Yeah. And it is Happy Valley Vinyl Shop, by the way, is like a vinyl shop near my house. Not near my house. It's like an hour and a half on public transport. But I always go there, and every single time I see this one, Smith's vinyl, and I'm like, oh my god, male manipulator music. Yeah. And, yeah. To Patti Smith, horses appear every time we feel vulnerable. Fiona Apple says, I want you to love me before moving into misery. Moving where? Somewhere. After the album finishes, my friend tells me she is leaving him. I say, now you are getting the hang of it. The familiar rhythm of our bodies thinned into the snapped string of absence. Kimya Dawson says, I don't see anyone else but you. My worst fear, right? Everyone has left, and everyone has taken all my CDs with them. Every ex has made me a playlist before leaving. Once, I stole a Radiohead CD. Guilt's shadow slicked into salt behind me. Afterwards, I threw up on a boy while playing The Smiths. Let Discman pry open permanence. My ex-boyfriend told me to listen to Neutral Milk Hotel as we broke up. Every night, music becomes catalyst. We grow used to despoiling duress in the evening amber of Townes Van Zandt. The vinyl is cold, skips back when knocked, sound thumb printed and thick. Posters shed their gauzy skins into the back of bar walls above a hazy static of drunk guitarists. Tomorrow, I will show her another album on Spotify, stringing headphone wires into another second snippet. The tinny audio of my phone rooting us into these skins, the way a tree only finds permanence in the divots of another. Yeah, I love music. You can probably see my background. Music's crazy. Music's so cool. Who came up with that one? And then, yeah, I reckon I will read. I'm just going through everything that I've written recently because I did not make like a set list. Like, I was like, I am not car seat headrest. I don't need to make like a set list before rocking up. So I'm gonna have a look. Yes, thank you, Nat. Okay. I'm going to read Or Bard After Ronald Reagan, which is probably my favorite poem in the whole book. Just super quick trigger warning for AIDS and for queer death. So, yeah. And it's a ekphrastic poem, so it's a poetic response to John Boscovich's Electric Fan, Feel It Motherfuckers, last unclaimed item from the Stephen Arabino estate. And so the art itself is a piece of conceptualist art, and it's basically just like a little box fan in plexiglass. So I'll just quickly read out the artist's statement. Soon after the death of his lover, Stephen Arabino, from AIDS, Los Angeles conceptual artist Boscovich discovered that Arabino's family had completely cleared out his apartment, including the artist's possessions, save for the electric box fan in this work. An entire person, existence, and relationship had been erased, like so many were during the AIDS crisis. Boscovich encased the fan in plexiglass as a kind of evidence, and added cutouts to allow its circulated air to escape and be felt by the viewer, almost like an exhalation. In a sense restoring Arabino's breath, at least as a facsimile in memoriam, Boscovich makes a tender and broken-hearted gesture towards some form of eternal life from the Museum of Contemporary Art. For a while, I kept coming out, again and again, to the same people. While driving, and the radio keeps playing the same 2 fucking Taylor Swift songs. Oh my god. There's something discursive in this monotony. Oh, labels, oh, flags, oh, endless scripts. I can never figure out how to abstract grief into forgiveness and or tact. The AC lets out that long, pretty cough, and I am left holding a gay mouthful of salty wind. I guess it's normal to need a knifed absence the same way one needs to piss. I mean, every place has the same air, doesn't it? Oh, these bones, encumbered in metal casing. I am so proud, I say, to be here, reforming the artifice of the body. It's funny, 'cause you can't step into the same river twice, 'cause everything keeps becoming something else. The power shuts off and dissipates. Sex becomes another way to leverage permanence onto couch and bed. So, I imagined turning up the fan till it becomes a metaphor for iconoclasm in domesticity. Make me death-defying queer. I mean, we both know how this ends. How loving faster than the wind is as easy as breathing. I mean, running against the dead center of the hurricane. Yeah, conceptualism is 80s conceptualism is. Hang on, I've got on my wall actually. I've got Boscovich's work on my wall. He's so cool. This is just an ad for John Boscovich. Like, search up his art. It's absolutely incredible. I've cried to it a lot. I reckon we've got time for like one long one. So which long one do we think, Nat?
Ooh, good
Should we do the ending one?
question. Yeah, ooh, that would actually be a great one to end with, I think. Yeah.
Awesome, exciting. Let's do it. It's called The Year I Turn 18 and Thinking About No Longer Being a Silly Teenage Girl. Brackets, some of all escape fantasies. Also, so messed up because I am going to be 18 in 2 months and 24 days. That is, no, that's not cool. And it goes like this. 1. How we lose it all. I open a door and it just spills out. How we lose it all. I only remember dates and times, provenance, and other such historiographical nonsense. I read somewhere that history is hell. This is true. Hell is very many great men in a single room. Hell is the implication that we each came from somewhere. 2. There is a rawness in this remembering. Foreign, breathless, every tunnel slumped into a pretty throat. I practice identity, carve out concaves and the smoothness of collarbones. Let me try again. 3. How we lose it all. With the radio playing Sun Ra. Tonight, I will dream of you. I am driving and you are laying on my lap and we are filling the glove box with mandarin peels, scrubbing orange paste off fingernails, exchanging our anecdotes in plain language. You are very beautiful, I think. All the while at the endless simulacrum of bodies kissing, kissing, kissing. All my poems have driving metaphors. So you point here and ask if I am always so fixated on movement. 4. I would like to be gentle as God or a baby otter. Sometimes I think I am God in the same way I cannot feel him. I mean, like, have you seen me and him in the same room together? I don't think so. Fun fact, forgiveness is stored in a mirrorless room. I wrote a poem earlier about the redistribution of river water, how to step in again and again, practice a fervency of repetition, and different water runs through it, circumventing capillaries, fluidity, and monotony. Oh, devotion, such a motherly thing. 5. How we lose it all. I am a girl and I am not a girl, and there is something so discursive in negation. In another dream, I render myself river, become formless and vacant, slick through mountains and borders, and drowning is nothing but navigating back to ancestral form. Afterwards, I woke up and I couldn't open the blinds. Too many clouds. Which clouds? He pointed at the fluffiest ones. Sometimes people get high and search for shapes in these clouds. Later, we kneel in the grass and pray for rain, dirty for thirst. I'd like to think that this is how we confront our erosions, metastasizing a lover's absence into predestination or something else suitably religious. 6. In the morning, a friend tells me he will not let himself die like this. Like what? I ask. Only a poet. I consider our youth, your mouth ticking into temporality, jaw slackened into clock, vibrating like pretty bomb, and I stand waiting, made out of broken timers, old teenage hollowness. Carve me out. Collarbones into bowl, stacked into bowl, stacked into bowl, stacked into bowl, stacked into bowl. I guess it's funny. The things I will do to avoid being made real. Yeah. By Mother Bird of Fifth Wheel Press. I am so very proud of it. Massive thank you to Nat and all the editors of Fifth Wheel Press. You guys are so cool. Buy the book, please. Yeah. It's been awesome being on here, Nat. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming out. I'm so glad we could make this work despite the time difference.
Oh my God. Look at us go.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my, it's actually like I know the concept of time differences, but it's crazy to me that it's like morning over there for you. It is literally, hang on, let me turn my camera out. It is like pitch black outside.
Hang on. Oh, it literally is.
It's so dark outside right now, yeah. So I'm so glad that you were able to come out, and that so many people from stateside were able to come out as well.
Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon.
So much, Nat. See you guys.
See ya.